Hey everyone, thanks for joining Learn to Play Games. My name is Lance, and today I'll be playing through and teaching you the solo rules to D6. This is a brand new game from Certifiable Studios. It is a 1 to 4 player game that takes roughly 1 to 2 hours to play, and is either cooperative or competitive depending upon the mode you've chosen to play. Now, I will not be teaching the base game rules for this one. I do have a full teaching video up in the top corner, so if you're not familiar with those, please check those out, as you will not be able to play this version without knowing the base game rules. I will go through all the different solo rules, and there's actually quite a few of them with this one, and then I'll play through the rest of the game to see if my hero can collect all the hides before the rounds run out. As always, if you find these videos helpful, if you like what I do, please consider that like button, subscribe to my channel. It's one of the easiest ways you can support channels like mine, so we can continue to grow and produce this content. If you want to stay up to date on all my videos, also consider ringing that bell so you get notifications anytime I release new content. Also, let me know in the comments if there's any other games you'd like to see videos like this for. I have a lot of fun filming these, and it's really cool to see if I can win or lose on camera. So I do really have a lot of fun filming these. I hope you enjoy watching these. So let me know if there's anything else you want me to cover, whether it is solo rules or just playing through other games that maybe I've done teaching videos on or whatnot. I love hearing from you. So with that being said, let's go ahead and head to the table, and I'll teach you how to play. So with this one, unlike some of my other videos for solo modes, this one actually has quite a few changes, so it's going to take me a little longer to go through some of this, so just bear with me. So first off, with setup, you're going to lay out your board as normal, and you can spawn all your train pieces, which I've already taken care of. And then for the solo mode, you're going to spawn 4 enemies randomly, and I've already taken care of that. You'll set up your player board the same way, and I went ahead and generated. I didn't roll too well. I ended up getting 3 coins out of it. And then the gather board is very important, as it has a little red dot up in the corner next to the gather board name. So you want to make sure you're using that with the solo mode. In the co-op mode, you can use any gather board you want to. From there, the other big things are, first off, with the bounty deck, you're going to shuffle that up and randomly draw 8 bounty cards from it, and that's the only bounty card you're going to be using for this mode. From there, then I'm going to go ahead and put these out. So I have the Den, North Point, the Land, and the Harbor, another Den, the Pass, North Point, so let me switch those out, and another Den. So I've got lots of stuff going on in the Den. Okay, so from there then you have the collection board. So with this one, this is what your main goal is in this game. There is no point in getting glory, so glory has no relevance in the co-op and solo modes. With that, you're only going to be focusing on the hides. So you're going to try to get one of each of these 15 different hides from the basic monsters. So that's your goal with the game. With that, the guardians are going to be counted as wilds, and that's only going to apply for the kraken and the dragons. The plants are there just to annoy you and get some coins. So you definitely want to take care of them, but they're not going to really help you in any other way. Other than that, there is a brand new collection board as well. You're going to use your compass as normal, but this time it's going to mark the progress on that board, and you're also going to have a red cube that'll mark the maximum number of turns. And at the beginning of the game, you only have 4 turns, and the only way to extend that is to gain bounties, and then make sure that you make it back to the village, as that's the only time you're going to get credit for those. Each bounty that you take back to the village is going to extend your game 1 round, so you'll get to move your red cube up 1 space per bounty that you've completed. Other than that, with the collection board, in solo mode only, you have a companion carrier. So there are 4 different companions to choose from. In the beginning of the game, you're going to choose one of those. So you have the kitten, which is going to give you a +1 whenever it's in the same space as you with your roll. You have the crustacean, which is going to give you a +2 when you're in the same space as it and only in dungeon spaces. Then you have the Wasteland Wasp, which works the same way except for with other train pieces. And with his ability, it actually stacks, so if you had multiple train pieces, you would get +4 in that space. So that can be handy when there's a lot of train out there. And then finally, there's the bird, which is going to give you a D4. And again, it has to be in the same space as you to benefit from that. So for my game, I'm going to go ahead and take the bird. I like that option, and so these will be returned to the box. And then with the companion now, there is a big change. So in your gather board, anytime you roll a 1, you won't gain an advantage card. Instead, you're going to resolve an effect for your companion. If it's still in the carrier, it'll be deployed to your space. If it's already on your space, then you're going to get 2 gold. And if it's already on the board but not in your space, you can choose to move it to your space. Other than that, during your turn, anytime you perform an action, you get to move your companion 1 space, and only 1 space. So if you rent a horse and move 2 spaces, your companion's only moving 1 still. So just keep that in mind. And then with the other thing, anytime you take a wound and your companion is in the same space as you, it will be returned to its companion carrier. So you got to be careful about taking wounds. And again, other than that, the other important thing is that, again, its ability can only be used when it's in the same space as you. The last thing is the heroic benefits. So this is another big change. As you'll notice, there are not any heroic quests out there, as you're not playing against anybody, so it's not going to help you. So with this one, at the end of the round, based on if you're playing solo or cooperative, with solo you're going to roll a d8, and cooperative you'll roll a d10, and then you'll gain the benefit by placing a marker in that benefit. Now you only have access to 3 markers, so you can use those at any time. You can store them up and use them when you need them. But if you roll and you don't have a marker to place, you can move one of your markers, or you simply don't gain anything. So that covers everything there. And I think the other big thing with it works pretty much the same way as the base game is when you kill a monster, if it counts as a bounty, then you can choose that, or you can use it as a hide or a specialty hide or wild. There aren't any other uses for them. So I think at that point, I think that's everything. So let's go ahead and move into the game now. So this is the one thing I wasn't quite sure on, is the rules don't quite cover it, and it says anything that they don't cover is the same as the base rules. So in the base rules, I get 1 advantage card to start the game, so I'm going to say that I get 1 advantage card for that. The other thing to decide is how to resolve enemies with your specialty hide. So there's 2 different ways you can do that, the standard way or the, I think, more difficult way or hardcore way or whatever. So with the standard way, it works just as normal, where you would convert the monster to a monster of your choice that only rolls a d6. And the hardcore way is that you would convert the monster to the monster of your choice, but then it also benefits from whatever it normally has. So for example, if I turn this enemy into an owlbear, then it would actually get a d8 as the owlbear does. And all of those are referenced here, so you don't have to go through the bag looking for the particular enemy you need. It's all referenced on your collection. So I think I'm going to go ahead and try hardcore mode and see how that goes. I don't know if that's going to pay off, but we're going to go ahead and give it a go. Okay, so at that point then, let's go ahead and move into the game. I ended up choosing to use my standee this time for my guy, and I'm a big fan of dwarves, and he's the closest that it came to it, so that's my choice. So other than that, I went ahead and took care of my skills ready. For the skills, I have all 3 of my skill tokens unlocked, so that is helpful. And since I'm in the village, at this point, moving into my turn, the very first step is to roll for a spawn and to gather. And the important thing with solo mode is you're going to do this twice per turn. So let's go ahead and start off with the first one. And it's a 1 and a 4, so I'll first draw an enemy and place them in the thick brush. And it is a mushroom. And then 4 is a a potion. There we go. A potion. My brain was going numb. Let's do the Pharaoh monsters, and then I will go ahead and roll again. For my second pass, again, it's a 4, so I get another potion. So I think I'll take an extra action, as that will be handy. And then I get a monster in location 6, so North Point. We have a couple of bounties in North Point, but not what I'm looking for. It is a blood dragon. Oh, man. Well, he does count as a wild, which is nice. Okay, so I'm in the village, And I'm going to go ahead and do my first thing. I'm going to do the Fountain of Youth, as I really need to increase some of those stats, especially my strength, as I'm really going to need that this time. So let's see how I do. I got a 6. Oh man, that's awesome. All right, so I'm going to upgrade that strength right away to 6. That will let me break ties. That's huge. And I think I'm going to stay there with everything else. I'm pretty happy with what I have right now, and the coins will definitely come in handy as I move on. So I'm going to go ahead and spend my very first action to move. So I'm going to move here. And I am in a space with the enemy now, and there aren't any bounties out for that, so I think I'm going to go ahead and attack that enemy right away and try to handle that. So the enemy is going to get a D4, and I will take my standard D6. And let's see if I can beat this guy right off the bat. So he rolls a 3 and I rolled a 3, so a tie normally goes to the enemy, but I got that strength, so I break ties and I will defeat that enemy, gaining 2 gold. And then I also collected my first hide, which is one that I need, so I'm going to place that in the hide board and take care of that. So that was my first action, was very successful. My next action, I think I'm going to go ahead and move. So I'm going to move again into the harbor. And then my third action, I'm going to go ahead and do a hunt to try to get an enemy in there. So I'm going to go ahead and draw a random enemy. And we have a flesh leech. Wow. I'm having a hard time talking here, apparently. I think I'm going to go ahead and do an animal handling and push that guy into the fields and redraw a new one. See, maybe if I get lucky on this one to get a rogue. I do not. I get a spider instead, who's even nastier. What did I get from my advantage card? I might as well keep this face up so you guys can see. So I have the heavy maggots. This is a D10, and it gives me +2 to the combat roll if I do not, let's see, +2 to combat roll if you did not just hunt this monster, which I did. So what do I want to do? I've used all my actions, so I could stop there. Or I could push my luck. I'm going to lure a monster into my space. So I'm going to, from any other space, I'm going to go ahead and take one of the guys from there and move him up, as that'll make him a lot easier to take care of instead of the owl bear. And that'll get one of my bounties for that. So then I'm going to go ahead and do an attack. So I'm going to start off by going after that enemy first, and he gets a D4. And I will get my D6. So I'm going to go ahead and attack him. And again, we tie. So again, that strength came through 2 times in a row. That is huge. So I'll get my 2 coins, and I defeat him. And I'm going to go ahead and claim the bounty for that. So I get the harbor. And then this guy goes back into the bag. And then I'm going to generate a new enemy spawn anytime you claim a bounty, and it's going to be in location 3. So let's see what we add. It's another enemy, another mushroom. The poison enemies are coming out in droves. Okay, and now it's on to the spider. So the spider is going to be rolling a D8. So that's not good. And he also gets a +2 to that. So I'm going to go ahead and spend 2 coins and buy an advantage card. So let me see what I get here. I get a +1 to my combat roll. Not the best, but it might be helpful. Or I could choose to use that and not get the +2 because it's a hunted monster. And the spider would be good to get out of the way. I think I am going to use that. So I'm going to use the heavy maggot, and I'll get my D10 instead. And he rolls a D8, so I'll go ahead and give these a roll and see what happens here. I rolled a 4, he rolls a 1, plus he gets 2 to that, so he is at a 3 to my 4, so I do win. I'll get my 2 coins, and I'm going to go ahead and use him as a hide, so I have taken care of the spider now. This gets discarded. And my turn could be over. I could use my Grape Jib Juice to give me an extra action, or I can stop there. I could move into the fields and risk going at it. I think I am going to use the Grape Jib Juice to get another action, and I will move in. I don't have any more actions, so I can end my turn there and not attack those enemies, but I will be engaged with them at the beginning of the next turn. But I hopefully will be able to get my companion out there, and he will definitely help in that situation, giving me that extra D4. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed and seeing what will happen there. All right, so I think I'm going to end the round there, and so I'm going to advance it to the next round. At that point, then I'm going to go ahead and roll again. So I'm going to grab my D10 and D4, and let's see what happens. Oh, wait, before I do that, at the end of my round, I do get that beneficial, the heroic benefit. So let me roll that, and it's a 4. So I'm going to get the stat, the core. This lets me make a free stat roll. Okay, that's not too bad. I could potentially use that for my stealth or something, so not too bad. All right, so now beginning my new round, let's go ahead and see what happens. So a 9, so I got an enemy over in the swamps, and that is a mummy, a daddy mummy, and I rolled a 3, so that's a wild, so I can count it as anything. So I think I will count it as a 1 and get my companion out there. So I will place him in my space, and then I'll go ahead and roll for the second group. And I got a 5, so that's going to be in the den. And it's another owlbear. We got rogues all over the place. And I rolled a 2 for 2 coins. Okay, so my coins are building up. That's nice. And that is it for that. So I'm ready to move into my turn. So right away, I'm engaged in combat with the enemies as I start my turn in their space. So I have to move into combat right away. So I'll go ahead and start off with the mushroom. So he's going to get the D4. If I can pull it out of here. Maybe. Okay, there we go. And I will get my D6. And then my companion is in there with me, so I'm going to get that extra D4. So let's see how I do here. And not very good, but he only rolled a 2, and I rolled a 3. And there aren't any benefits for him in there, so he is going to go down. All right, so I'm going to get 2 coins for that. And I'll add those here. And then I've already killed the mushroom, so then I'm going to check my board, which I don't get anything for poison enemies, so it is going to simply be a wild. Okay, so that is that guy. So let's go with the Flesh Leech next, and he gets a D6, and he's going to add 2 to whatever he rolls. So hopefully I'm going to roll better this time than last time, and let's find out. It's a 3, so... and he gets +2, so he actually has a 5, and I have a 4. So I have a couple options here. I could spend a skill to get a +1. I do have the rock, which would let me get a +1 as well. So I think I'm going to do that. I will spend that to get the rock, and that'll give me a +1. So I'll just bump that up, and I'm tied again, and that strength skill just keeps paying off. Man, that was such a critical thing for me. So I'll defeat him. And I will use him. Now I've completed all the poison hides. And then I'm on to my last enemy. That is an owlbear. He gets a D8. And he gets +1 for dungeons. We are in a dungeon, so he is going to benefit from that. And let's see if he can roll low or what's going to happen here. He rolls a 4. All right, so it's a 5 because of the +1. And I rolled an 8. So very successful. I have defeated the owlbear. That is at the fields, and there aren't any bounties at the fields, so I'm going to go ahead and use him as a collection hide. And so far, things have been going very smoothly. Okay, I forgot to reset my actions. Okay, so that is that part, so I need to move now. There's tons of stuff in the den, so I definitely want to move down there. So let's go ahead and do an action to move down there. So I'll do that and shift in there, and I'll bring my companion with me. I'll put him over there. And then I might as well do a hunt and try to get a new enemy in there. So let's go ahead and do a random poll. And it is a null, and I do need a beast, so that's good. And I'm going to go ahead, that was my second action. I could do one more and try to get a third enemy. My rolls have been really good so far. I don't know, do I push it? Yeah, let's do it. So let's go ahead and draw. And it's a mummy. Okay, so now at this point, I've used all of my actions. I can choose to enter combat. We got a D6 plus 2, a D8 plus 2, and a D8. Ugh. All right, let's do it. What do I want to do first? So I do have a couple of bounty. I got one bounty out there right now. And so that's the beasts. So let's try to get that one out of the way first. So he gets a D6 plus 2. And I'm going to get my D6 and my D4. And he does get a +1 for forests, which there are forests in there as well, so he's going to be a problem. Let's see how I do. Pretty good. Okay, so I rolled a 9, and he has a 6. +2 is 8, +1 is 9. Again, we tied. This is crazy. That is such an epic thing for me to get that strength. Man, that has paid tremendously so far. All right, so I'm going to use that to gain that bounty. So I'll move that one down here into my collection. This gets added back to the bag, and I have to bring out a new one. So let me roll for that real quick. It's into location 7, so up in the wastelands. And we have the bandit, the goblin. So that is one I need. And that is that enemy. So the next one is going to roll a D8. So I can either go after the owl bear or the mummy. Oh, and I need the mummy as well for the den. So that could complete all 3 of my things. So let's do the owl bear next and see how I do with him. I'll put this away. It's a 7. He rolls terribly with a 1, so I definitely defeat him. That's 2 more coins. My coin collection continues. And he is defeated. I already have him in my collection, and I, again, don't need him for the specialties, so he becomes a wild, which now converts. So I will... There's not a lot of beasts out there right now. And I haven't collected any beasts yet, so I'm going to go ahead and place that in that collection there. This one gets added back to the bag. And then I'm on to my last guy. So the mummy. And I might as well I'm going to spend the 2 coins to get a D12. Give that a try. That's the holy water. So I won't get my companion with that because it's not my standard D6. Hopefully this will pay off. We'll find out. All right, and he gets his D8s. And it's 12. Yes, it did. That was incredible. I just doused that mummy. All right, so I am going to use that as the bounty. So I'll collect the final bounty for that location, place that back in the bag, and then I do have to do another random. So another one in the den. And this is the Plants of Eden. All right. Yeah, I might as well just get them out of the way. That is the only Plants of Eden out right now, so I'm just going to use my standard thing, and it just is a +3. So as long as I don't roll 2 1s, which now that I've said that, of course I probably will. Pretty close. I got a 4. So it has been defeated. This goes right back into the bag, and I get 2 coins for defeating it. So I've got my coins back. And I've gotten my 3 bounties at this point. I'm out of moves. I could do the Trusty Steed to get me back 1 space. That's not going to help me too much, so I think I'm going to stop there. And I'm going to have to make my way back to the village at this point anyways. So I'm going to go ahead and roll for the end of the rounds for my heroic benefits. It's an 8. So I get a personal shift, and this is while in the harbor, you may move to any other space but the village. Okay, so that could be helpful, especially after I drop off my bounties at the village. And then I'll move it up. So at this point, now I have an event. So let's go ahead and roll for the event and see what happens. This is where things can really go south. It's a 26. All right, so let's see what 26 is. Solitary. So you find a decaying entrance to a long-abandoned dungeon. The restless ghosts of the incarcerated are as lonely in death as they were in life, and what passed for it in the dark. Dirty cellars where you marked your days, or their days. They crave your company, and they'll align themselves with whatever dark force is necessary to get it. During this round, every monster in a space containing a dungeon will receive 1 buff. If a monster is spawned in a space containing a dungeon, place a buff on it too. Remove buffs at the conclusion of the round. And we're heading into round 3, which is a Hunter's Moon. So I really don't want to be fighting enemies this round because they're going to get all kinds of nastiness. So I definitely want to make my way towards the village. Okay, so then we're moving into round 3. So I'm closing in on that thing. I definitely need to get those bounties back to the village and get those points. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and reset my actions. And I'll go ahead and start off with the spawning step. So I got to do a spawn and gather. So first one is a 7. So another one up in the wastelands. And it's a hellhound. And then a number 3, which is a wild. So I can do anything I want. So I'm going to gain a potion. And I'll do the Wingzo so I can go right back to the village instead of having to move my way up there. And then my second one is a 5 and a 2. So I'm going to gain 2 more coins. I am in the money. Ebenezer Scrooge here. And another goblin into the den. Oh man, that's a shame too, because that was one more. I'm absolutely full on my bounties. Otherwise, that would have worked out perfectly. All right, so now it moves into my part of the turn. So I am going to use that potion right away and get myself back to the village. So at that point, I would regain my health. I get to cash in those bounties. So I get to move the cube up 3. 1, 2, 3. And these will be discarded off to the side. And now that I'm in the village, do I want to do anything else? I do want to spend 1 coin to get that skill back. So I have all 3 of my skills again. And I might as well use this one to make that free roll. So let's go ahead and do that and see if I can get that stealth a little bit better. I can't get much better than that. I'll take that for sure. Okay. So now my stealth is at 6, so if I need to slip past enemies, I might actually do it. For those of you that don't know, the last couple games that I've played in the past, especially with my friends, I haven't upgraded that. And of course, I'm a dwarf, so they love making noise. And I don't think I've ever passed the stealth check yet, so I might actually pull it off this time. So that's cool. All right, is there anything else I want to do in the village at this point? I mean, I could train my intelligence. I could bump up my skill. I think I'll do that. So I'll spend 2 and increase that last one to 6 for my skill. So now I can use each a skill twice if I need to. So that's good. Yeah, I think that's it for the village. So now we need to move. So I'm going to spend 1 gold to hire or rent a horse. And I'll move 2 locations, so 1, 2 to the harbor. I get to move my companion 1 space for the action, so let me move that down. I keep forgetting that. I'm going to screw that up for sure. So I'm going to move him there. And at the harbor, I don't have any bounties at that point for that. I could go to the wastelands, but I think that's asking a lot right now with those effects out there. So what do I want to do? I could build up for the next turn. So I think I'm going to do a gather first off. So let's go ahead and do that and see what I get. And I'll move my companion up to the harbor with me. So I get a 3, which is a wild. So I'm going to go ahead and gain a potion. And I think I'll do the grape jib juice to get an extra action. And then I think I'm going to set myself up for the next turn. So I think I'm going to do a move action. And I'll move into the wastelands, and I'll bring my companion with me. And I think I will end my turn there. So, yeah. Okay, so then at the end of the round, again, I get my heroic benefits. It's a 2, so I've got the hidden passage. So when in a dungeon, move to another dungeon. Okay, so that could be handy. I am in the wastelands with a dungeon. So after I beat those, if I beat those guys, then I'll get benefits for that. All right, so then it is into round 4. So at the top of the round, again, I have to do my gather and spawnings. So let's get some more enemies out here. Enemy in 3 and a wild. So I'm going to go ahead, and there is another bandit. So we have an orc in location 3 in the wild. Should I gain another potion? I think I will. I think I'll get the fair monsters, and then a 1 and a 3. So with the 1, it is my companion. He's in the same space as me, so I get 2 coins for that. And a 3 is another one in the field, which is going to be a hellhound. Okay, then it is back into my turn. I keep forgetting to move that up. Let's see. Well, I'm in space with enemies, so I have to enter into combat right away. And I don't have to worry about that event anymore, so all the enemies are back to normal. And I got a couple in there that actually all 3 of them in there I need. And there aren't any bounties in the wastelands, so I don't have to worry about that. So let's go ahead and attack. So I'll go ahead and start off with the easiest enemy, the Bone Banshee. So he only gets a D4. And he does get a benefit for the dungeon, so he's going to get a D4 plus 1. And I'll do my D4 and my D6. All right, so let's go ahead and give these a roll. He rolls a 3 plus his 1, so he'll get a 4. And I rolled an 8, so I have gotten him. I get 2 coins. I'm going to have to get some more coins here in a minute. And he will go in there. And then the next enemy, I'll go with the Hellhounds, which is a D4 plus 1. And then I'll get my stuff as well. He gets a 3, which again, it'll be a 4. And I have a 4 as well. So again, that strength paid off. He has been defeated. And I'll place him in that section. And then the Goblin will go. He gets a D6 plus 1. So let me grab that. And we continue, and he's got a 7, so he actually beats me at this point. So I do need to figure out something. So I'm going to spend 2 coins to reroll my companion's die and see if I can get better than a 1. It's a 1 again, so I can reroll again or something else. I'm going to go ahead and reroll again. I got plenty of coins to spend, so let's see if I can do better. There it is. There's a 3. So I'm at an 8, so I have defeated him, and I'll go ahead and count him as a bounty as well. So that takes care of all the enemies in that space. And now what do I want to do? So I have 1 left in the den. I have 2 in North Point. I have a dragon in North Point. The land is down here with another dragon in it. I've been rolling so well, I'm almost tempted to go after the dragons just to see if I can hold my own. Unfortunately, my companion isn't going to come with me right now, so that's going to be a problem. He's been super helpful. Okay, let's go ahead and do a move action. So I'll move to the harbor, and I get to bring him with me because I'm moving, or I'm doing an action. I could do the personal skiff, and that would let me, while I'm in the harbor, I may move to any other space but the village. So I would let me move anywhere I am tempted to go after that blood dragon, as there is a couple of bounties in North Point as well. So, yeah, I think I'm going to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and use that and move myself there and see what happens. So in order to do another action, I'd have to do a sneak first. And I do have a stealth of 6 now, so my odds are pretty good. So yeah, I'm going to try to do a hunt action. So first I have to do a stealth check. So it's a pass. So I can do the hunt action. So I'm going to go ahead and draw an enemy. Let's see what I get. It is a mummy, which isn't going to help me in North Point. So I will spend that animal handling to push him back into the den. And I'll draw again, which is a undead skeleton, which I do need, and that's not a bad thing. Oh, I forgot to spend that action for the hunt. So I could do that again. Oh, and I get to move him for that. Keep forgetting this stuff. Well, let me do another stealth check. I pass again, so I'll go ahead and do another hunt action. I'll move this guy here. And I get a rogue, a Minotaur. I do need that, so I will go ahead and place him there. And then I will go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and attack. So I need the bounty, and I need him as well. So that's going to be a tough call. Okay. I'm going to go after the skeleton first. So he's a D4 plus 2, and he gets a bonus for the crypts, which are over there. So I'm good there. So let's see what happens. And I rolled a 1. He rolls a 2, so he's actually got a 4. And, well, I might as well re-roll because I can't do any worse than that. It's a 5, so I do beat him. And he doesn't count as anything, so I'm going to use him down here. I get my 2 coins back for defeating him. And then it's on to the next enemy. So this is where things get nasty. So I'm going to spend 2 coins and buy an advantage card, see if I can get a better weapon. It's a critical, so that's nice. I get to double the results of a roll. I'll go ahead and buy another one. I really could use a better weapon. There it is. That's the Wooden Screws Club is a D20 plus 2 in combat. So I think I might hold on to that for the dragon. All right, so on to the Minotaur. He's going to roll a D10. And I'm rolling my D6. I might as well go ahead and do it. See if I can get lucky here. He gets a 6 and I get a 6. So we've tied. There is no other bonuses for him. So I break ties. Again, that strength is just killing it. I'm sure you guys are sick of me saying that, but it is just unbelievable how many ties I've had this game. So now the question is, do I take his hide or do I get the bounty? Ooh, I think I'm going to take the bounty. So I'll collect that and I'll get another enemy out there. So let me roll for that. It's an 8, so it's going to be into Dead Pass. It is a Cobalt. And I do need a bandit in the pass, so that it might actually be good. And then finally the dragon is a D20 plus 6. Oh, man. Well, you know what's coming. I'm definitely using the Wooden Screws Club to get my D20 out there. And it's going to be 20 versus 20. Let's see what happens here. All right, so here we go. Let's see what happens. A 2 to a 3. Oh, my goodness. So he is 2 plus 6, so he actually got an 8. And I have a 3. And I get plus 2 to my combat roll. So I'm going to go ahead and use the critical. That will double my result, so I actually have a 6. And then I get +2 to that for, you guessed it, an 8 to tie the dragon. So I get my 2 gold as usual. And then he goes down and he counts as a wild. But I have to nominate where I'm placing him right away. So probably I definitely want to go after one of the big enemies. So the question now is, do I place him in the vampire and get the vampire out of the way right away, since we really haven't gotten a lot of them out there yet? Or do I go and place them? I think I'm going to place him in the vampire. I'm going to go ahead and use a skill to move. So this lets me move 1 space with my trusty steed. So I'm going to move down here and I'm going to do some more combat. Why not? And now that I have my companion in there, that hopefully will make it a little easier for me. So I'm going to get my D6 and I'll go against that goblin first. And he gets a D6 +1. And let's see what happens. He rolls a 5, so he's actually at a 6, and I have a 6. So we tie, and I win ties. So I defeat him. That is the den. And I already have goblins, so I'm going to go ahead and grab the bounty. So that'll be my second bounty. I'll go ahead and place this back in the thing, and then I get a new one. So let's go ahead and roll. It's a 2, and it's the harbor. And it's the bone banshee. I already have one of those. So then it's on to the mummy. So he gets a D8 +2. And I'm going to stay with my stuff. Yeah, that was not as good of a roll. So he has a 6. And I've gotten a 4. So I'm going to spend 2 to re-roll. And it's a 5. So I have an 8. So that defeats him. And that's at the den. I don't have any more bounties at the den, but I do need a mummy. So I'll go ahead and place that there and complete that set as well. I have just been killing it this game. I cannot believe how smooth this game has gone. My trial game did not go this smooth, so I'm sorry. I do apologize for those of you that were really hoping for me to get my butt kicked, but so far things have gone really well, and I've got some turns to go yet. So do I just keep going? I do have a potion to move a monster into my space. I could do that and take out another enemy, because the orc is out there, and I do need one of those, or the kobolds as well. I do probably want to leave him there just in case I want to get that bounty at the pass. Why not? Let's go ahead and use the potion to move the orc in there, and I'll go ahead and attack him right away. So he gets a D8 +2, and I get my stuff. So let's see how this works. Wow, he maxed out at 8 because he got 6 plus the 2, and I've got a 5. So I definitely need to do something here. So I could re-roll, but I would need a 6 at this point. So let's go ahead and buy an advantage card and see what I get. It's the throwing dagger, so not bad, but not going to help me in this situation. Why not? Let's go ahead and try. I'm going to go and spend 2 to re-roll my D6 and see if I can get a 6. No, just a 2. Okay. Let's go ahead and spend 2 more and buy another card. So I have the Hatchet of No Regrets. That's a D8. I have one more skill, so I could do a move to get me out of there. What do I want to do? I'm going to go ahead and spend 2 more. Why not? And do another reroll. It's a 6. Can you believe it? The luck just keeps pouring on. So I defeated the enemy. I get my 2 gold for that, and the orcs are another enemy that I've gotten the hide for. Whoever said anything about dwarves, they are killing it in this game. If he's a dwarf. I don't know. All right. I think I'm going to end my turn there. So I'll go ahead and move that up there. I'll get my heroic benefits, another 2 hidden passage. I'm already full there. So I think I get to reroll then. And a 5. So I've got liquid victory, double your next combat roll. Okay, that's cool. That could definitely come in handy. And then I'll move the marker down. So this is round 5. I'm almost to another event. Beginning of the round, I'll go ahead and spawn and do my gather. So my first is a 5. So more enemies in the den. I don't even have to go and get the enemies. They're coming to me. Plants. Okay. And a 2. Oh, wait. What was that one? That was a 3, I think. So it was a wild. I go ahead and do the pheromones again. They've been working out really well. And then I've got another enemy in the harbor, orcs, and a... Let's just re-roll this because I wasn't not paying attention. And it's another 3, so another wild. I'll gain 2 coins. All right. So I'm getting down to it. I need a Minotaur, a werewolf, a null, and a cobalt. And right now, the cobalts are the only ones out there. So let's go ahead and start with combat first. I'll just go ahead and try to get those plants out of the way. And I do. No problem there. He goes back into the bag, and I'll get my 2 coins. And then I might as well open up with a hunt action and see if I can get one of the enemies I need. So I pulled a null. I got it. So cool. And I'm going to go and do a stealth check and try to pull another one. And I got it. So I make it. I'll move that down. And another hunt. And I pulled a mushroom. So I think I'll do the animal handling, and I'll push him. Up there. Redraw. And it is another plant, so not what I was hoping for. All right, let's go ahead and just do a combat real quick. So I'm going to go ahead and attack. I'll attack the plant first. A pair of 1s. Ugh. So I'll go ahead and spend 2 to reroll. And a 4. So the plant does go down. I get my 2 coins back. That's why I held him in my hand. And then onto the null. So he's going to get a d6 plus 2 and a plus another 1 for the forest. So come on. Ooh, he got an 8. So let me just bring this over and mark that. And I got double 1s. Could not have rolled worse. He actually got a 9, so I'll move that in here. All right, so that is, let's see, what can I do? I'm out of skills. I could buy some advantage cards. I don't know if those are really going to help me at this point. So let's go ahead and start with a reroll. I'll reroll my d6. So I'm up to 4 now. I could just take a wound. I'm going to lose my companion, and he's been really helpful, so I don't know if I want to do that yet. But at this point, I'd have to really roll well to make up that ground. Even to get to 9, I'm 5 away. Let's go ahead and buy a card. I'll buy an advantage card, see what I get there. Plus 1 to my combat roll, so that could be handy. I'll spend 2 more, and I'll re-roll the d4. It's a 1 again. Yeah, I don't know if I want to burn a bunch of more gold for that. I think I'm going to do it. I'll take the wound, so I'm going to lose a wound, and I lose my companion. He's back into the carrier, and then I get to go again. So bring that die back in. I lose the d4. I'll go ahead and use the Hatchet of No Regrets. So that gets me the d8. And we'll see how that goes. So, and then with this one, if I lose health, I gain an advantage card. So let's go ahead and roll. He rolls a 4 plus 2, 3, so he's at a 7. I rolled a 2. So I'm going to go ahead and re-roll that. See if I can get any better. It's a 6, so I'm going to go ahead and use the spikes. This gives me a +1 to my combat roll. That'll bump me up to a 7. So now I tie, and I win ties, so I'll gain the coins. And I defeat him, and I do need him for that, so I'll collect that. And this gets discarded as well. All right. So that I have 1 action remaining. Next round is going to be another Hunter's Moon. So let's go ahead and move into the fields, and I'll go ahead and attack them. Let's start with the Hellhound, and I'm going to go ahead and use my throwing daggers. They have a ranged, so even if I fail, I won't take a wound. And he gets a D4 +1. So let's see what we get. And I got a 6, so that was successful. I defeat the Hellhounds. I don't need them, so I will gain a Wilds, as they are not one of my specialties either. And then onto the Mushroom. Another 6, and I defeat him, and he also is not one of my ones that I need. So again, I'll do the Undead. So this goes back to the bag. And I might as well keep moving. So I'm going to go ahead and use my potion, the Great Jib Juice, to move into that space. And now I've got some more enemies to go. I'll go after the Bone Banshee first. So he gets a D4 to my D6. 3 6s in a row. The dice is not weighted, I swear. And he got a 3. So he has been defeated as well. I don't need him, so I'll convert him to a wild. And I get 2 coins. I can't remember if I got 2 coins from the last one, but I don't know. I'm going to go ahead and spend those right away and get an advantage card. So this is a D8. I can pay per shredder. And this one says, before combat, pay 3 coins to change this to a D20. I don't know if I need that much. But he does get a D8. And he is +2 to that. Ooh. Sure, why not? So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And normally I roll pretty bad with D20s, so this might not pay off. I might have spent all that for nothing. So let's find out. Okay, I'm going to shut up. That was a 19. I obliterated him. Okay, so that is the Harbor. Again, I don't need the Harbor, and I don't need an Orc, so I will convert that into a specialty. The first hide I actually needed. I do get coins back for that. And this gets discarded. So the pay per shredder definitely helped. Okay. I do have one more potion. I could lure another monster in, so I'm going to do that. Why not? And I'm going to get that Cobalt over here to the Harbor and attack him. So I get my D6. He gets a D4. Where's that at? Over here. And let's see what happens. He got a 4 + 1 is a 5, and I got a 2. So I'm definitely going to have to do some work here. So I'm going to go ahead and reroll first, see if I can do any better. A 2 again. Go ahead and buy a advantage card. +2 to my combat roll. So I'm going to go ahead and roll again. I just need a little higher. Wow, 3 2s. 3 6s and then 3 2s. There it is. Okay, so he has been defeated. That'll get that, and I get 2 coins back. And just like that, I am almost out of coins. All right. That is pretty much everything. And I forgot to use the Liquid Victory. That probably could have come in handy too. Okay. So I think I will end the round there. So I'm going to go ahead and reset that. I get my D8, which is 8 again. So I've got that personal skiff again. And I'm at the harbor. Unfortunately, I need to make it back to the village. So then the event phase. So let's go ahead and roll for that. and see what I get. And then it's going to be a Hunter's Moon again. It is a 19, another low roll. The Wolf King, a pack of werewolf scouts moves past you and you say a silent prayer of thanks that you're upwind of them. You've always assumed that the alpha werewolf was a myth, but trailing the scouts is an ornate litter carrying the legendary beast, shouldered by a score of the fiercest werewolves you've ever seen, and you've seen a lot. You remain as still as possible, hoping the wind doesn't change. Place the D3 or D10 plus 3 GM token in a space with the cemetery token. The first player to defeat it gains 2 gold coins and may max out 1 slot token. All right, so let me find that and I'll add that to that area. Okay, so now I'm into round 6. I've only got 1 round left, so it's a good thing I have a couple of bounties and I'm making my way back. Okay, so then it is the beginning of my turn, so let me roll for my random spawns and my gather. So a 1, so my companion does come back out, and I place a new enemy in the den. That has been a hot area for enemies. A vampire, and another one in the den, and another, so I get 2 coins since my companion is already in my space. And it is a goblin. So I still need werewolves and the Minotaurs. I do have all 3 specialty hides, so I am going to guarantee to get one of those at least. So that's good. So first, let me go ahead and rent a horse, spend an action, and move myself back to the village. So I gain my health back. I do gain to cash those bounties in, so I get 2 more turns. So that gets me up to round 9. And I think, oh, I do want to spend 3 coins to buy my skills back. Those are definitely been handy. Man, I'm down to my last coin. Oof. Yeah, why not? I'll go ahead and spend that and move back to the harbor. And then I will go ahead and do, I'm going to use one of my skills to do research. That lets me do a free gather action. It is a 3, so it's a wild. So I think I will do the grape jib juice to get an extra action. And then let's go ahead and do a hunt action and see if I can get one of these enemies. Okay, it's an orc, so I'm going to go ahead and do the animal handling to move him. So I'm going to push him down into the fields and redraw. And it's a hellhound, so not helpful. And I don't think I want to spend my last skill already for that. All right. So I might as well attack him. I get my 2. He gets a D4 plus 1. So I might as well try to take care of him. He rolls a 2 plus 1 for 3. And I've got 2 1s. Man. Might as well use that. That's plus 2, and that'll defeat him. So, not what I need. So he becomes a wild, and I'm already full, so I guess I can hold on to that. That's another thing I wasn't quite sure on, so I'm just going to hold on to it for now. I don't think I'll get it back up anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and use my extra action. Oh, he's got the Hunter's Moon as well. I forgot about that. Oh, so that was, he had a 3, I believe. And I had 2 1s. And I had the 2. So he's actually at a 5. So I better put that back out there. So that is not good. So I could spend 1 to boost that further. So I think I'm going to have to do that just to win that combat. Okay, so that'll take care of that. Now that's clear. I do get the 2 coins for defeating him. And I do have a potion. I could do one more action. I think I'll do that and hope that I pull something good. So I am going to do another gather or another hunt action. And I pull a dragon, the golden dragon. He is a D20 plus 4. And the Hunter's Moon does not affect him. Guardians cannot be buffed. But that is ugly. I do have the combat roll. I'm not in a dungeon, so I can't use that. So I might want to hold off there and see what else I can do next round. So I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to pass. So I'll go ahead and roll and see if I get something better that I could use. It's a 7. 7 is destroy monster. Destroy monster in your space and gain no benefit from that monster. I don't think I want to do, and he's not a monster, so I can't do that. I'm not in a dungeon, so I guess I'll gain that just in case. If there's somebody, if I get somebody really that I don't need. All right, then this will move down to round 7. And I'll go ahead and do my spawnings and gatherings. It's a 9 and a 4, so I get a new potion, and a new enemy comes out. There's the werewolf. So I'm going to gain the pheromones, because that'll get him over there. And then a 9 and a 4, so another enemy. It'd be funny if that was the Minotaur. Nope, it's another null. And another potion. Okay, what could I use? I could use another. The Rock of Mages would be good too. Let me reroll if an enemy does really well. Because I'm out of gold at this point, so. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and do that. And take care of that. So. Well, this could be it here. I could finish the game here. So I'm going to go ahead and spend the Fair Monsters and bring the werewolf over. And I'm going to go ahead and try to do a stealth check. So let me see. I got it. So I'm going to go ahead and do an action to do a gather. A 3, a wild. So I'm going to gain 2 coins. I will try that again. It's another 2, so I get to do another gather. It's another 3, and I'll gain 2 more coins. Do I go one more? Why not? Let's do it. It's a 5, so I am under my stealth again. So a 3rd gather. I get another wild, so I'm going to go ahead and take 2 more coins. And that is all my actions. So now I want to go into combat. I have some coins to work with. So what do I want to do with this? I've got some coins to work with, so I could buy an advantage card, hope for a weapon. I do have the double my next attack, which could be very beneficial. So yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm going to spend 2 coins, buy an advantage card, +3 to the combat roll, or gain a free reroll. So that actually is pretty helpful. Oh, so he's going to get a D10 plus 1. And I'm getting the D6 and the D4. Well, let's go ahead and do it and see what happens. I do have the Rock of Mages to help me just in case. So he's got a 5 plus 1 for a 6. And I rolled a 9. So I do defeat him. So he'll go there and I'll get 2 coins. And it's down to the last enemy. And I have a golden dragon I'm facing. So he's got the D20 plus 4, and I've got those. Ugh. I'm going to risk it. I'll go ahead and do the Liquid Victory. And that gets me to double my next roll. And let's see what happens. I'm going to go ahead and do the D6 for my doubling. And he rolls a 1. So the dragon super fails. And it's a +4, so it's actually a 5. my die is doubled, so I actually have a 4 plus 2 for 6. So I do defeat the dragon, and that'll finish off my last card. I did have the plus 3 to combat, so I could have done that as well. And that is all the enemies, so I actually win the game there. Well, I hope you guys found that video helpful. If you have any questions or comments, leave those in the comment section below and I'll do my best to answer them. And also let me know if I made any mistakes. I love hearing from you guys and hearing anything that I mess up on, and so I can make corrections and I continue to learn just like the rest of you. As always, thank you so much for taking the time to watch my videos and leave me feedback on them. I do really appreciate it, and I take into account everything you guys say to make the best possible videos. As always, if you like these videos, if you found this helpful, please also consider that like button, subscribing to my channel. It really does make a big difference. It's one of the easiest ways you can support channels like mine, so I can continue to grow and produce this content. Until next time, I'll see you guys later.